Martha was no stranger to hard work. Sunrise on the family farm meant endless chores, milking cows, hauling feed, fixing fences. But this morning was different. She wasn't in her boots and apron, she was in her only neat dress, clutching her 6-month-old son, Henry. Her husband, Thomas, insisted she take this trip to visit her mother, who was ill. The flight was already overwhelming. The baby fussed, the cramped seat pinched her shoulders, and she could feel the stares of strangers who silently judged every whimper from Henry. She whispered lullabies, rocked him gently, and smiled apologetically at those around her. Then came the flight attendant. Sharp uniform, sharper tone. "Ma'am, control your baby. Other passengers are complaining." Martha's cheeks burned. "I'm trying, I promise, he's just teething." The attendant sneered. "Excuses. You farm people never know how to act in public." And then it happened. A swift, shocking slap across Martha's face. The cabin gasped. Henry screamed louder. Tears filled Martha's eyes, but not a word left her lips. She pulled her baby close, burying his cries in her shoulder, praying for the moment to pass. Passengers whispered, some in outrage, some in disbelief. Yet no one moved to defend her. Alone, humiliated, she endured the rest of the flight in silence. Her face burned, but deeper still was the sting of being treated as less, as if her life of dirt and soil made her unworthy of respect. What the attendant did not know, what no one on that plane knew, was that Martha's husband was Thomas Callahan, the chief executive of the very airline she was flying on. When Martha stepped off the plane, she didn't storm into the terminal or demand attention. That wasn't her way. She kissed her baby's forehead, wiped her tears, and went straight to her mother's bedside, carrying the pain quietly. But silence can be louder than shouting when the right ears listen. Thomas noticed immediately when he returned home from a business trip. The faint red mark had faded, but his wife's eyes told the story. With gentle persistence, he coaxed the truth from her. At first, she resisted. She didn't want revenge. She didn't want to use his power. She only wanted dignity. But Thomas knew something deeper was at stake. "Martha," he said, "if this could happen to you, my wife, the mother of my son, then it could happen to anyone. And most wouldn't have anyone to fight for them." The next morning, Thomas called an emergency meeting. Senior staff gathered, unaware of the storm about to land in their boardroom. Thomas began not with titles or authority, but with a story, his wife's story. He told it with emotion, his voice cracking as he described the slap, the humiliation, the cruelty toward a mother doing her best. Gasps rippled across the room. Executives shifted uncomfortably. And then Thomas revealed the part no one expected: that mother was my wife. That child was my son. That flight attendant wore our uniform. The weight of his words settled like thunder. What followed was swift. The attendant was suspended, then dismissed after a full review confirmed other complaints of mistreatment. But Thomas did more than remove one cruel employee, he used the moment to transform the airline. He introduced mandatory empathy training, a passenger advocacy program, and a clear line for complaints to be heard and acted upon. His message was simple but powerful: every person who boards our planes deserves dignity. No matter their background, no matter their struggles. If we cannot respect the mother holding a baby, we cannot call ourselves an airline worthy of trust. Martha, though reluctant to be the center of change, watched quietly as her painful moment became the spark for kindness in thousands of journeys. And in the silence of her farmhouse porch one evening, Thomas took her hand and said, "Your courage to endure with grace has changed more lives than you'll ever know."